Can you hear me? Hello and welcome to Western Cinema Presents. Today's feature, Oklahoma from 1955. I've never, this is going to be like a first watch for me, guys. There's nothing in memory that I have that, um, so yeah, this is the first watch. So yeah, well, hopefully that you maybe this might be the first time for some of you. As much as we love to show them to you here on YouTube, we are restricted by copyright law and the guidelines of YouTube. I don't think this is quite public domain just yet. And of course, there's a lot of music. Music is a whole entity on its own. With me is my trusty sidekick, the YouTube Ronin, deleted scenes. How you doing this afternoon?
Fairly partly cloudy, Bill. How about yourself?
Sunny and really hot.
All right, right on. Today's movie is Oklahoma from 1955, the famous musical Western romance musical, and there's a ton of very familiar songs that you might come to recognize if this is your first time watching. You have a romance in the fact that there are some thirsty kitties in this movie. Everybody's trying to get with somebody else, and it's a Western in that there's also a bad guy that they got to deal with along the way. So Oklahoma, rated G, which is a little deceptive. It's probably closer to a PG, but it's 2 hours and 25 minutes. So buckle up. Synopsis reads as follows: in Oklahoma, several farmers, cowboys, and a traveling salesman compete for the romantic favors of various local ladies. So, do you want to say hello to everybody who's currently joining us in the chat? Channel member JPRPH1. Channel member, the Tired of Midnight blogger, the voice of Northern Oklahoma, Curtis Selby. Faithful Blue Wrench channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions, Connie Clary. Tune the News is with us. And Enigma Severus.
Yeah.
All right. Do want to remind everyone that, as Bill said, this movie is not public domain yet. And even if it was, and we could show it to you live as much as we would like to, we are bound to get hit for music. So because there tend to be rights issues when it comes to individual songs and whatnot. So unfortunately, we can't show this to you live. If you are with us right now, you will have to follow along on Cosme or sync up with your own personal copy, which we do encourage having a physical copy. And I'm sure this movie is on streaming. Everybody always says about every movie, it's on Tubi. So check it out there. I'm sure it may even be here on YouTube somewhere. So please feel free to check it out. But there are certain guidelines that YouTube lays down here in America. We are not in India. We're not in Europe. So we can't show you the film. think of this as like a commentary track on a DVD.
Yeah.
That's essentially what we're doing here. So, if you want to go into the comments and say, well, this is this is clickbait. You don't show the movie. We want to. YouTube won't let us. So,
Yep.
take it up with YouTube, and maybe they'll change the guidelines. All right. So, without further ado, I say, unless there's anything else, I say let's go ahead and start this puppy.
Okay, here we go.
All right. The Cosme link is at the top of both chats. Bill and I are simulcasting, so please don't forget to both channels hit the like, share out the stream. Hello in the Cosme chat to Andrea Black and Anonymous Camel. No Enigma, I don't think it would be, but thank you for the compliment. All right. Let us know in the chat. Have you, is this your first time seeing this movie? When I was in high school, I was part of the drama club, and we were shown this movie.
That's a long overture. Overture.
The film is available on Fandango at home. So if you would like to follow along from there, you can do so. Most of the movies we show here are on Fandango at home. So
Right.
it's a place to find it. All right. So here we go. Puppy approves.
I think there's a delivery being delivered.
Oklahoma, starring Gordon McCrae, Gloria Graham, Gene Nelson, Charlotte Greenwood, Eddie Albert, James Whitmore, and introducing Shirley Jones with Rod Steiger, Rogers and Hammerstein.
Seen by Sonia Livin and William. Damn it.
Yep. That guy. Beautiful morning, a beautiful day.
A bullfrog in a pond.
What? Oh, shh. They do this to the whole picture.
Yeah. That's why they're called musicals.
Speaking of which,
One of the reasons why I chose this film for today, I saw that it was on sale on at Bendigo at home. I think it was $5. So if you guys interested, you can probably pick it up at Bendigo at home for about $5. I think that's what the price was.
Yeah.
It might have been 10, but I'm not. It was one of the two. It was either 5 or 10.
Of course, here we're setting up our main triangle of the film. Yeah. Oh, what to do? What to do? Well, here are my choices: random singing cowboy or 13 years from Sheriff Gillespie. Well, I guess I go and start a family and take my kids and tour with them. Let's go with the tambourine. I'll name her Lori too.
You're Curtis, your pants are and shirts are always so clean when they say it should be muddy. Miracles, I guess.
And oh, hello.
Uh-oh. You better swim to hide. Yeah, hide that birthday suit.
Oh, that's okay. He's not from there either. Hello to Gambit 187, 1987. See? Have we done Stagecoach, Bill?
Yeah, we have. We
Oh,
have.
we
Yeah.
did? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And I've been thinking about revisiting doing Two Meals for Sister Sarah again. That's another favorite.
Well, I tell you, Gambit, people saying that old-fashioned films drag. I think it depends on the film. If it's good, then it's not going to drag, and if it's not as good, then yeah. I've seen movies that were 90 minutes long that felt like they went on forever, and then 3-hour movies that flew by, you know?
Yeah. Well, here's another one that I've kind of been thinking about in the long run. Gettysburg, but it's a 4-hour movie, so
we'd have to split that up, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. You really have to admire when the studios in this era of films, uh, everything they went to put into the musical, like even the music and the scenery, and well, the wardrobe. The fashion designer, or it's really is something. huge body of work for a lot of people back then, and even though we're watching it here in 2025, it looks timeless. It really does. So you have to admire that.
Mhm.
I think he's saying, "Oh, oh,
Yeah.
What do they got? Hyenas there? Well, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me just say this Partridge Family episode was not entirely what I was expecting. Yay. Okay, Andrea, here are all the ugly guys. And down.
They had to clarify. It's okay.
Dang it, woman, you're going to get him shot. Oh, Schnapple. Here we go. What did I say? And hello to the Horror King. We're watching Oklahoma for Western Cinema Presents. Bill and I are simulcasting, so please hit the like on both channels. Say hello in the chat. The Cosme link is at the top of the chat. Chick fight. Oh, Lord have mercy. Your difference. Ruben Kincaid. Was it? Yes. That was good. Time through. Salesman coming through.
You got her. Okay.
Yep.
He got her.
Well, remember, he was at gunpoint, so. She picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. Hobbies. Oh no, it's Once Upon a Honeymoon. What to do? What to do?
Don't adjust your TV set. It's just a musical, folks. Oh boy.
Whoops. Hello to FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim. Thank you for the $1 super chat. Watching Oklahoma, we're up to the dream sequence portion.
Excuse me. We're at 127 at 109. Intermission.
All right. As we go to the intermission, I'm going to have to step away for a few moments. I'll be back.
Okay.
In the meantime, let us know in the chat. What do you think of the movie so far?
Let's let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Very clever, Tim. Not many films you get these days that have intermissions, right? Paint your wagon. We could definitely do that. We can arrange that. If that's something you guys will like, let us know. If you guys have any suggestions for westerns or paint your wagon, we'd love to hear them, and we'll love to bring those to you guys and ladies. Uh-oh. What? He just left his ass. It's probably been a year or two, Connie. It's definitely been like a year or longer, maybe 2 years. I don't know. I know we did it some time ago.
Ah, Sherry's birthday party, finally. Here we go. Yes.
He's got a gun. Oh, Granny's got a gun.
Yeah, okay there, Bill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I done plumb forgot I could be shot by this crazy old woman. Well, let's clear up this here storyline.
Hello, Big Al.
Yeah, present the host of Friends with Friends, where Bill and I are going to be appearing on the 18th for a Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Thank you, Tim, for the $2 super chat. Did you sign Sherry's card? Damn it! I did not. I mean, she's with you 5 seconds ago. My son, the idiot.
We all need a spanking. All right, Pepe Le Pew. Uh-oh. Hit the road, Pepe Le Pew.
NCLE. Jeez. Man down. Chick fight. Oh no, wait. Stop. Don't. Let them fight. Oh, dang it. Hi, Kiba. That old woman will knock you to hell out.
Yes, she will.
Mm. Yeah. All right, folks, that was Oklahoma. Shall I consult the scrolls?
Yep, you can tilt the trolls.
Okay. Oklahoma was released October 11th, 1955. Budgeted at around $5 million. Grossing worldwide 16K. I'm not sure I quite buy that, but that's what IMDb says. Movie was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, being nominated for cinematography and film editing, and winning for sound and musical score. Was nominated for the Writers Guild of America Award for Best Written American Musical, and won the Golden Laurel for Top Male Musical Performance for Gordon McRae, played Curly. Nominated in 2006 for a Satellite Award for Best Classic DVD for being part of the Rodgers and Hammerstein box set collection, and was added to the National Film Registry in 2007. All right. Was filmed on location in Sonita, Empire Ranch, Green Valley, Agua Linda Farm, Canelo, Amado, Elgin, and Nogales, Arizona. And on the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios in Culver City, California. The San Rafael Ranch House, San Rafael State Natural Area, 2036 Duquesne Road, Patagonia, Arizona. All right. Moving on to trivia. And hello, Mist, OG Queen.
You're welcome, Lady Mist.
All right. It's the first Tadeo production, which has a frame rate of 30 frames per second, incompatible with 35 millimeter, which is 24 frames per second. As a result, it was shot simultaneously on 35 millimeter CinemaScope for general release. The second Tadeo film, Around the World in 80 Days, was shot Tadeo at 30 frames per second and 24 frames per second. 35 millimeter CinemaScope reduction prints would therefore be made from the 24 frames per second version. After the second film, Tadeo switched to 24 frames per second for all future productions. This was Fred Zinnemann's first and only musical, and it cost a then astronomical $6.8 million in 1954 dollars, which in 2020 is the equivalent of $65,497,650.56. In 2020, that would be would only be a moderate budget for one movie, and it must be remembered 2 movies were filmed in 2 different formats. The song Lonely Room, sung by Judd, was omitted from the film, and the song Judd explains his bitter resentments and deep frustrations. Possibly this was considered too strong for 1955 filmgoers. Based on the play Green Grow the Lilacs by Lynn Riggs, a part Cherokee playwright born in Oklahoma. The general release version shot in CinemaScope is the one that played most in theaters throughout the USA. This version was not released until late 1956, after the first run Tadeo version had played in New York for more than a year, after the film versions of 2 other Rodgers and Hammerstein's stage musicals, Carousel and The King and I, had already been released throughout the United States. The song Kansas City was edited for censors. Will sang it. I could swear that she was patted from her shoulders to her heel. And then she started dancing. Her dancing made me feel that every single thing she had was absolutely real. In the original play script, it went, I could swear she was patted from her shoulders to her heels. And later in the second act, when she began to peel, she proved she had that everything she had was absolutely real. Okay. Now, you can't say that in 1955. All right. Although James Mitchell and Bambi Lynn danced to parts of Curly and Laurie in the Dream Ballet, Rod Steiger did his own dancing in that sequence because there was no one who looked enough like him from the back. Despite his initial uncertainties and after considerable coaching from choreographer Agnes DeMille, Steiger actually did a credible job, later calling it one of the biggest challenges he ever had. James Mitchell was working on The Prodigal at the same time as the Dream Ballet. The world premiere was preceded by a parade of fringed surreys led by Oklahoma's Governor Raymond Gary, which made its way from the St. James Theater, where the stage version of Oklahoma had opened 12 years earlier, to the Rivoli Theater for the film premiere. There, standing atop a carpet of transplanted Oklahoma soil, Governor Gary helped raise the Oklahoma state flag from the theater staff and officially proclaimed the Rivoli to be Oklahoma territory. The original Broadway production of Oklahoma opened at the St. James Theater in New York City on March 31st, 1943, and ran for 2,212 performances, setting a record for a musical. Alfred Drake and Joan Roberts starred as Curly and Laurie. Howard Da Silva was Judd Fry. And if you were watching 1776 with us the other night over on Al's channel, he played Ben Franklin in that film. He was the original Judd. And Celeste Holm was Ado Annie. The musical that this film is based on was originally titled Away We Go. The title was changed to Oklahoma after the popularity of that song to play's initial audiences. It was the first Broadway musical in which every song sung had a direct relation to the plot, and which there were none that were simply musical interludes. The film soundtrack album became one of the most successful movie albums ever released. It was more successful than the 1943 original Broadway cast album of Oklahoma, which was the biggest stage hit of its time. The song It's a Scandal, It's an Outrage was omitted from the film. It was sung by Ali Hakim and the male chorus, and they expressed outrage at fathers with shotguns in the song. Nogales, Arizona was declared an honorary part of Oklahoma for the period of shooting by the governor. Finding corn as high as an elephant's eye proved to be quite a challenge, since filming was to take place out of season. No tall cornfields were to be found anywhere. The job was given to the people at the University of Arizona Agricultural Department, who planted each stalk in individual containers and held their breath. With rain and good luck, the corn grew to the height of 16 feet, causing Oscar Hammerstein to quip, "The corn is now as high as the eye of an elephant on top of another elephant." Eli Wallach was at one point suggested for the role of Judd Fry, as was Marlon Brando. Filmed in both CinemaScope and Tadeo, and both films are seen together, subtle differences may be discerned in such areas as line readings and overall pace. In the Tadeo version of the movie, there is more picture available in the periphery than in the CinemaScope version, and the peripheral picture on each side of the main action is very detailed. It is visibly distorted at times when there is physical action, such as movement on the periphery and long shots. Betty Hutton turned down the role of Ado Annie, a role that could have revived her screen career. She instead chose to do a TV special called Satins and Spurs. In Sheila McRae's autobiographical book, Hollywood Mother of the Year, in her chapter titled Curly Billy and Me, she revealed that Gordon McRae had very few waves in his hair. This posed problems to be playing a man who got his nickname from his curly locks. Movie hairdressers tried to fix it, but Oscar Hammerstein was unhappy with the results and suggested that Gordon get a permanent. Gordon refused and instead agreed to allow his wife Sheila to finger curl his hair each morning so his character's name was believable. The tone-deaf Gloria Graham sang without dubbing. Her songs had to be edited together from recordings made almost literally note by note. Mark Platt, Bambi Lynn, and Jane Fisher are the only cast members of the original Broadway stage production to appear in the film, but they do not perform their original stage roles. This was Shirley Jones' film debut. Okay. This next one is lengthy. Bear with me. The two girls infatuated with Will Parker were an invention of director Fred Zinnemann and choreographer Agnes DeMille. Lizanne Truex and Jane Fisher were originally slated to appear only in the Kansas City routine. They had worked with DeMille before and knew and she knew they could look like 12-year-olds even though they were 23 and 26 respectively. Zinnemann and DeMille liked the girls' work so much that they decided to add them in their characters, the Goon Girls, to the entire film. Zinnemann wanted the part of Ado Annie to be played comically, but Gloria Graham kept putting a sexy twist to the part, so he told the Goon Girls that he would use them more extensively as comic relief to compensate for Graham's interpretation. They appeared in every dance scene and had more screen time than some of the other co-stars. Since the girls were going to have so much exposure, there was some discussion as to what to call them. Zinnemann said that because they were always gooning, aka fooling around, they should be called the Goon Girls, and the moniker was born. Truex had 3 one-liners, and Fisher shouted, "That's all right, you're too young to go too," when the women were prevented from participating in the chivalry and after the wedding. Somewhat unusual for ensemble dancers. While waiting for the film to be released, Lizanne joined the European tour of the States version of Oklahoma which shared Shirley Jones and her future husband Jack Cassidy. In this tour, Truex played the role of the girl who falls down in a film performed by Virginia Bosler. Fisher had played the role in the last 8 months of the original Broadway run and then the national tour. The end scene in the Kansas City routine proved to be rewarding for Lisanne Truex and Jane Fisher. Jumping off a moving train into the arms of the waiting cowboys required perfect timing. Just before the first take, a union representative called for an adjustment, which turned out to be $250 in hazard pay for each jump. 7 takes later, director Fred Zinnemann was satisfied. Truex remarked that they must remember to call for an adjustment more often, as she had a 1951 for to pay off. The poignant scene, Many a New Day, where the blonde goon girl, Lisanne Truex, rests her head on the shoulder of Shirley Jones, came on the 43rd take. The director, Fred Zinnemann, was unhappy with the way the girls gathered around Miss Jones, and he came up with this idea. When asked about her distinctive haircut in the film, Lisanne Truex said that because of the innocent tomboyish behavior of her goon girl character, the studio hairstylist changed her hair to a changed her pixie cut to a bowl cut, like the little kids in the period were given. During the filming, she was primping before a mirror backstage, bemoaning the results. With Jane Fisher looking on, director Fred Zinnemann included that charming vignette in the Many a New Day dance routine suggestion of Agnes DeMille, who happened to see the incident and like what she saw. Lisanne also had to adopt a high-pitched, childlike voice to deliver her lines. In real life, her voice was described as Marlene Dietrich, husky and deep. Okay. The interiors were shot at MGM in the autumn of 1954. The first time that an outside production company not releasing to MGM was allowed to film a feature there. Elaine Roberts auditioned for the role of Lori. The 1970 U.S. TV premiere of this film was on CBS and hosted by the cast of the network's popular series Family Affair. Brian Keith, Sebastian Cabot, Anissa Jones, Johnny Whitaker, and Kathy Garver. I wonder if they had Mrs. Beasley with them. Presented in character, the wraparounds involved a fictional Davis family viewing and commenting on the film. In her autobiography, Playing the Field, Mamie Van Doren recalls her campaign to play Ado Annie. Van Doren claims one of the reasons she lost the part was that her acting coach, who happened to be Gloria Graham's mother, mentioned Van Doren's interest in the part to her daughter, Graham, suddenly became interested in playing the role herself, launching a campaign of her own to win it, which she did. Robert Stack, Piper Laurie, Lee Marvin, Vic Damone, Dale Robertson, and Joan Evans were all screen tested for various roles. James Whitmore played Gloria Graham's father, despite only being 2 years older than her. The story is set shortly before 1907, when Oklahoma Territory was admitted to the Union as a state. Selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Film Registry in 2007, the centennial year of Oklahoma's statehood. Fred Zinnemann wanted James Dean to play Curly, but Rodgers and Hammerstein vetoed him in favor of the more conventional Gordon MacRae. Dean did a rendition of Poor Jud is Dead with Rod Steiger that knocked Zinnemann's socks off, but his singing was deemed not strong enough, so the part was given to MacRae. Steiger remarked that Dean hadn't quite got his technique together. At the time of his death, he was working too much on instinct. He'd be brilliant in one scene, then blow the next. While preparing the film a full year in advance of production, art director Joseph Wright studied weather records for the location and discovered that they showed that the area was subject to horrible spring floods. Over the objections of budget-conscious producers, he insisted that $15,000 be spent on constructing a dam. Floods ultimately came as predicted and saved over $250,000 worth of sets. Montgomery Clift, James Dean, and Paul Newman were considered for Curly. Included among the 1001 movies you must see before you die, edited by Steven Snyder. The train in the movie is the Southern Pacific Railroad locomotive 1673. It ran in southern Arizona from 1900 to 1955. It is currently on display at the Tucson Historic Train Depot in downtown Tucson. Ben Johnson can be seen in the dance scene at the train station. He also does horse stunting for Gene Nelson at the end of the train dance sequence. Gloria Graham frequently disappears from musical numbers, presumably because she was unable to manage the choreography. She appears in The Farmer and the Cowman only long enough to sing a verse, but is nowhere to be seen up to that point and vanishes immediately after. As the song Oklahoma begins, Graham can be seen on the porch with Gene Nelson, although she is clearly ad-libbing for her discomfort as she hides behind him and doesn't sing the lyric with the rest of the cast. Once Nelson hops off the porch to join the ensemble, Graham disappears for the remainder of the number. Including the financing of the Tadeo system at the total cost of the film was $11 million in 1954, which in 2020 is the equivalent of $105,952,081.78. Included among the American Film Institute's 1998 list of the 400 movies nominated for the top 100 greatest American movies. In 1953, Shirley Jones, who had signed a contract with composer Richard Rodgers, was put into the vocal chorus of a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical called Me and Juliet, which was then running on Broadway. Shirley MacLaine was a dancer in that show. MacLaine, who had appeared in several stage productions of Oklahoma, asked her friend Jones to speak to Joshua Logan and the executives at Fox to give her the part of Vado Annie. Jones did and told MacLaine the executives were all determined to give the part to Gloria Graham. Producer Arthur Hornblow Jr. originally wanted Howard Keel to star as Curly. Keel had originated the role in the first London production of Oklahoma in 1946. Because he was making several movies at his home studio at MGM, who refused to loan him out, Keel turned down the part. In 2019, UK's BBC Two showed a CinemaScope version retrofitted with a newer Samuel Goldwyn Company signature animation. As post-1986 MGM had acquired the Samuel Goldwyn library, the film is retrofitted is technically now an MGM musical. The version that was shown on BBC Two in August of 2019 was the full original aspect ratio CinemaScope according to the opening titles, but curiously the frame still cropped off people on the left and right of the frame. The feet during dancing and hats, not unlike cropping from when widescreen films were cropped for 12:9 Academy ratio TV screens, when at least half of the widescreen was lost with eccentric pan and scan reframing. This odd frame composition of the CinemaScope version looks as if it was cropped from a 16:9 frame. Shirley Jones' birthday, March 31st, was also the same date that the original production of Oklahoma opened on Broadway. Location work was shot north of Nogales, Arizona, where the cast and crew put in more than 2 months of work from late June until the end of August. It was delayed by flash floods, one of which washed away a car containing a week's worth of film. The movie took 9 months in total, starting in March of 1954, with 3 months of rehearsal, 2.5 months of location work. Then from September till December 6th, the interiors were shot on the largest sound stage at MGM. The long production schedule was mostly due to the fact that they were actually shooting 2 movies, one in Tadeo and the other in San Francisco. All right. During the Many a New Day number, Virginia Bosler, the dancer seen primping in front of the mirror, and was also chosen to do the falls that made Joan McCracken a star on the original Broadway production. But Agnes DeMille choreographed them from the original comic intent to something more closely resembling a fainting spell. Virginia suddenly drops to the floor rather than leaps in the air and lands on her side. Sliding as Joan did. It remained a mystery until DeMille was supervising the 1979 revival of Oklahoma on Broadway, and she said she redid one dance in the cast, and it had originally been built around Joan McCracken, now deceased. The replacement. Passed by the British Board of Film Censors with a U certificate on July the 6th, 1956, and opened at the Odeon Leicester Square on 6 December 1956, where it ran for 8 weeks. It then transferred to the Odeon Marble Arch on October 30th, 1956, where it ran a further 12 weeks. Unfortunately, the total of 20 weeks was massively shorter than the success of Roger and Hammerstein's other musical, South Pacific, which ran at the Dominion for 232 weeks. The final film of dancer actress Jane Fisher, she took a few acting jobs in early television, went back to Broadway, and in the first half of the 60s appeared in numerous TV commercials. The Persian peddler, Ali Hakim, is portrayed by ethnic German Eddie Albert. Gloria Graham was notoriously difficult to work with, especially on this movie's set. She refused to do some scenes, repeatedly showed up late and argued with cast and crew. Shirley Jones, who was on her first movie, said in a 1990 interview, it was a very uncomfortable situation. Because of Gloria Graham's antics during filming, she rarely acted again in film and mostly appeared on TV. Included among American Film Institute's 2002 list of 400 movies nominated for the top 100 of America's greatest love stories. Right. On the posters and advertising material for the Magna RKO radio version released in 1955, Shirley Jones is billed 8th because she was a newcomer and an introduction credit, and despite her character's prominence in the storyline. Later in 1956, when 20th Century Fox re-released the CinemaScope version, Jones was fittingly given 3rd billing in the cast. Included among the American Film Institute's 2004 list of 400 movies nominated for the top 100 America's greatest music in the movies for the song Oklahoma. Included among the American Film Institute's 2004 list of 400 movies nominated for the top 100 of America's greatest music and movies for the song Oh What a Beautiful Morning. Included among the American Film Institute's 2006 list of 180 movies nominated for AFI's greatest movie musicals. At Curly's trial, if you can call it that, Andrew Carn says, never mind, furthermore, the plea is self-defense. This line would later be used in the Monkees song Zilch. In this movie, which runs almost 2.5 hours, the first 2 hours plus take place in one day. The remaining 15 minutes or so are spread over an unspecified number of days. The credited cast includes 3 acting Oscar winners, Shirley Jones, Gloria Graham, and Rod Steiger, 2 acting Oscar nominees, Eddie Albert and James Whitmore. The cast also includes another acting Oscar winner, an uncredited Ben Johnson, who at this point in his career had roles as extras in stunt work, usually as a cowboy, such as in this film. The film was given a B rating by the National League of Decency, morally objectionable in part for all.
Really? Wow.
Yep. Okay.
Oh.
Here's the last one. In the Kansas City number, Agnes DeMille needed some women for the men to dance with, and true to her determination to always tell a story with her choreography, she created the idea of two 12-year-olds who've come to the train station to see their cowboy hero returning triumphantly from the Kansas City rodeo. She happened to have worked with two dancers, Lizanne Truex and Jane Fisher, who were small enough to look like children, but really to sell the illusion, she had them hold hands and slink away shyly at every opportunity. Their effectiveness in that number led them to being woven into the rest of the movie, even though they were not in the script nor in the original play. They show up virtually everywhere. If the director could have thought of a logical reason for them to be in the smokehouse, they probably would have been in the poor Judas dead scene. Later in the All or Nothing number, where they dance around Will Parker in what they hope is a seductive manner and are rewarded with a kiss on the cheek. The girl played by Jane then takes matters into her own hands and kisses Will, even though she's not sure what she's doing. In early takes, Jane was puckering up and kissing him like an adult would, and it seemed wrong for an innocent 12-year-old, so she was told to keep her eyes open and just bang her face into his like a 4-year-old kisses. It worked. Youthful illusion retained. It's easily the funniest visual in the movie. Okay. That's it. Let's go,
Yay!
All right, folks, that was Oklahoma.
Did you like it? Yeah, I liked it. It's all right.
Yeah, it's a good film. All right.
I'm thinking for next week, City Slickers 2. We did the first one. We got the second one now.
All righty then.
City Slickers 2. What you got coming up there, the deleted scenes? Any later?
All right. Well, in a little under an hour, rejoin me on my channel for Unscripted, episode 114. Later on tonight, episode 14 of Reserved Seats, where I will be joined by Wilkie's Movies and Music. Tuesday, the Mystery Movie Night podcast. That'll be at about 7 p.m. Followed right after that by Live from Sparkwood in 21, where we continue our deep dive into David Lynch's film Lost Highway. And of course, don't forget to join Bill and me Thursday at 4:30 for Action Theater. Kai July continues with Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim.
And then, of course, Extra Dose on Saturday at 3:30 for the 1998 Godzilla.
Yep.
Yep. And, of course, coming attractions on Thursday night at 11:30. And that's what I've got coming up.
Cool.
Yep.
Thank you all
Hope
for being here. Appreciate it. Without
Hope
you
that
guys,
everybody. Okay, sorry.
not possible. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yes, I would also like to thank everyone who joined us. I know at one point we had over 40 people watching, so thank you all. You don't have to engage with the chat. This as long as you enjoyed the show. Hit the like, share out the stream. A reminder once again for anyone who comes upon this broadcast, the movie is available. I understand at a sale price on Fandango at home. so you can watch it that way, unless you have your own physical copy already. Um, what Bill and I do here basically is essentially like give you a fan commentary as if you're watching a DVD. So that's what we try to bring you. We encourage physical media here. But if you have to go to a streaming service, you got to do what you got to do. But that is a way that you can watch the film. Oklahoma is not yet public domain. And even if it was, the music rights would still be an issue. So we couldn't air it live, even though we very much would have liked to. So, all right, for my final words is to once again thank everybody for the member chats, the super chats and super stickers throughout the film. We do appreciate it. We were simulcasting, so please leave a like and say hello in the comments. Share out both streams. We really would appreciate it. And of course, thank everybody who joined us here in the live chat.
Mm-hmm.
From HQ, our second home office in Arizona, and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. And I, of course, would like to thank Bill once again for allowing me to be his trusty sidekick for the broadcast. And as I always say, stay strong, be safe and healthy. Don't fall on your knife, because you wouldn't want that. That would hurt.
Yeah.
Because this is how we win. Over to you, Bill.
Be excellent to each other. Party on. See you on the next one.